The Totino-Grace Eagles men's hockey team, we welcome you to Brooklyn Center Community Ice Arena as the Totino-Grace Eagles will play host to the visiting Anoka Tornadoes, a northwest suburban matchup on tap tonight, a 7:30 p.m. start originally, with the JV game going into a little bit of overtime and a very good closing goal by your home Eagles with 9 seconds left in the running time overtime period. Got us started about 20 minutes late, but at 7:50 here in a couple of minutes, we are bound to be dropping the puck. These are two teams that have gotten off to pretty even keel starts. For Anoka, they come into this tilt 1-1, coming off of a win versus Irondale. They lost their opener against Rogers. On the other side for Totino-Grace, it's been a tough road. A 1-5 loss to Maple Grove, and then a 2-7 loss to East Grand Forks. So for the Totino-Grace Eagles team, they're looking to find some scoring. They've only scored 3 goals on the season so far in those 2 games. On the other side for Anoka, they're averaging 3 goals a game, but they are also giving up 3 goals at the same exact time. Johnson at center, along with Putt. They go to the faceoff, and it will be the Eagles that win. They tried to check it up to the red line, but instead it falls down to the opposition. We start with 4 seconds on the clock with an icing, so we'll go back and turn ourselves around to the other side, the home side for the Eagles. In net for them, you might see him busy right now early on for Totino. It will be John Howe. Same lines on the ice. Adam Johnson, a junior centerman here for Totino-Grace. He will win the draw. They'll wrap it around, trying to get up to the winger, Delzer. Delzer opts back to the defense. Chipped up on head. The Eagles trying to break out. They will for a moment. Anoka all over it. Totino coming to you left to right on your screen in their home whites, navy blue breezers, as well as shoulder padding as well, and obviously that signature yellow. Anoka on the other side, a maroon jersey, maroon breezer, white helmet as well. A dangle through the near side. Totino-Grace enter their offensive zone for a moment, but the Tornadoes turn it on back around. They'll dump and go for a change. Second line's now out for both teams on the ice as they work on the near side. It's the Eagles. Wrap it back around, going around to get his Stika. A very good left defender, Nick, 6'2", 195, a big body presence for a Totino-Grace team that has some size on this team, but they also have a lack thereof. It's a roster that really, when you look at last year, they lose some talent for sure, but they also gain 2 of their top 5 scores from last year's roster. Check that. They actually gained 4. It's Anoka that loses 3 of their top 5 scores last year. Totino returns 4 of them, so it's a team that was young last year, and on a season where they went 8-15 and did not make the state tournament. This year, again, not a great start, 0-2, but certainly a team that has some potential to get better as the year goes along. Face off on the defensive half of the ice for the Eagles. It will be on the right mark. For Anoka, Buenas, he wins it. Back to the defense. Sloth couldn't handle it. He's that starting blue liner along with Shui. Here are the Eagles. Speed coming along the left side. It's Jack Gray. He tries to chip it along to his right winger, Jepson. He loses it, but they gain it back. Gray patient, works it to the back line. Wasek, shot on the right post. Couldn't quite squeak in, but the Eagles still alive. 15 minutes on the dot left here in the first of 3 periods. They work it back to the defense again. What will Wasek do this time? The senior right defender. That one on net. Gray was in front of the net, tried to deflect, but couldn't. They work it back to the D on net. Tipped out in front. There's a chip, and a chance on the red line, and the ref says no goal. Centimeters away from that puck crossing and being the Eagles' first goal of the game, but it barely misses. A big break for Anoka early, and for Joe Moen in net for this team. I don't think he thought that puck was behind him. I thought he had it stuck somewhere in his body. It squeaked by him, but the Eagles, I think, were fooled as well. The result, a face-off on the right hash. Eagles had control for a moment. The Tornadoes take it now. Chipped in ahead. by Milray. And Josh Milray, really the guy you want to watch out for this Anoka team. 1 goal, 2 assists on the year. And someone last year who didn't play a huge part on this team, but this year I think certainly as a senior, he's a guy that you want to watch out for. And again, one of the guys that right now is currently tied for the team lead in points. That one is frozen up by Moan. Give it to the referee. Anoka will hold the faceoff on their right side, near side. Thank you for joining us on youthhockeyhub.com. We appreciate your viewership. Great crew alongside me, Ryan and Justin. My name is Alex Zappa. We welcome you to this Saturday evening game. Could be watching football, but you'd rather be watching hockey, and that's why we're here. The Tornadoes trying to gain control, and they will. Finally, it's Milray. He can make stuff happen with his left stick. That time gets deflected. Eagles play it back patiently. Not a bad idea. Moore will give chase. Cross ice, bad pass, slip foot. No call made. Some action in the far side corner. The Eagles gain possession as a result. Big body Kyle Heffron tries to work his way up the ice, and he will. Guarding it, back out front, centered. Can someone put it away? No. Out of position, and again a cross post shot. Barely. That time maybe a few feet. But that's now 2 times the Eagles have certainly teased the net so far. They haven't been able to convert yet, but they certainly have the momentum early on here in the first. That shot far left, but a big hit there coming afterwards by Wasik. The defender stepping up and getting a shot for Totino. Gray, third line centerman, he'll work his way up the near side. He looks left, wants to center it, does. Tipped for a moment, but right into the body of Joe Moen, junior goalkeeper for Anoka. Taking the faceoff for Totino is Jack Gray. Kyle Heffron out on the ice as well. Actually, he just went for a change, so it is the complete third line. Heffron sticking around from the second after the change. Whistle blows. We'll do it again. 12:35 now on the clock. Eagles being patient. See what they do. Hand gives it off to the defense. Shot out in front, but not of danger yet. Anoka now trying to go back the other way. A good skate by Totino keeps it in. It was the left winger. His shot looking to center. Back door wasn't open. This time it isn't either. Blocked by the Tornadoes. They go on an opposite man rush. 2v2. Who's going to win? The body of the defense of the Eagles stays strong that time. They ring it around. Big body putt. Watch out for him on Anoka. Number 40. It's hard not to. He's the biggest man on this ice, arguably. In skates, the guy looks like he belongs in the NBA. The Eagles now trying to hold strong in their defensive end. Man, the physical play of this defense for the Eagles has been very apparent early on. Jake Wasik already has about 3 hits in this game. A skate from the Eagles gives way to a chance. They're rushing. It's Thelen, the first line left winger for this Totino team. He had an opportunity, but it got stunted by the combination of that second line defensive pair here for the Tornadoes. At center ice, it's a bobble. No one can gain possession. Finally, Anoka tries to. They go D to D. Near side, they'll dump. Both teams chase. Sticks will get it for Totino. That's Stitcha. 2 assists on the year. Nick, that first line left defender for Totino-Grace. Someone that can absolutely make things happen. Watch for him on the power play as well. A very good skater, a very good passer too. Near side. The Tornadoes come out with it. They got a 2-on-1. Take a shot up in the air. Still a chance out in front of the net along the dots. Whistle blows. High stick, I believe. See if anyone goes to the box. I don't believe they will, so a stoppage nonetheless face-off in the left dot. Sounds like Andover has a win tonight versus Osseo 4-0, so your defending Northwest Suburban champs getting a W on this weekend slate of games. Last time I checked, the Minnesota Wild were knotted up at 2s with the Toronto Maple Leafs after 2. They were down 0-2 early, and then an Eric Stahl goal made it 1-2. I'm not sure who scored the second. That's in the professional ranks. Here in the high school ranks, a chance for the Eagles, but offsides. The linesman steps up, makes the call. We'll turn it around. St. Cloud State up 1 on Miami, Ohio. If you care about our friends over at St. Cloud, great place. Great hockey. We appreciate them donating a coach to the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, Bob Motzko. Hasn't worked out great so far. Maybe it will in the future. Who knows? That's the college ranks. Now back to high school. Totino dumps. Tornadoes, they got a lot of speed, and they're showing you how right now. Oh, up top, it's Anoka. What a pretty one by Tanner Oenis, the sophomore forward. .950 on the clock, and Anoka strikes first from the sophomore. I believe it was Gabe Miller along with him on the nice assist. Check that. I think it was actually 9, Frank Umont. But we'll wait for the reading of the announcement. A nice goal, a one-timer. So Annis with the goal. They give 2 assists on it, and that will put Anoka up 1-0. And again, for Totino, that's a tough start because this is a team that certainly had a lot of momentum at the start of this game. They had a lot of pep in their step. They were skating very hard and very quickly. Anoka really could have been down 2-0. Come a few inches here or there. They've hit a post already as Totino-Grace. They also had a puck legitimately stop along the red line. So they haven't caught many lucky breaks in this one. They find themselves trailing by 1. Anoka again 1-1 on the year. Totino still searching for that coveted first win of the season. Anoka, they work up, they pull it back, but across the blue line, and they'll have to reset. They dump along the right side, all 4 forwards chasing. This is the first line for Anoka, and how about Putt? He makes a play. Can the defense back him up? On net, hit the stick of an Eagle, deflects it, and now they're offline. Up front, a chance, one-on-one on net, save. A good shot, however, by Palmer. But Joe Moen was there for the Tornadoes to stop it closed. .8:39 on the clock. Still in the first period, in case you're joining us here shortly. Again, it's a pleasure to bring you this game on youthhockeyhub.com. Anoka out in front, a good play by the left winger for the Eagles. Deflected to the side by Howe. And now the Eagles are looking to gain an offensive possession in that half of the arena. The Eagles haven't really set up shop since the opening minutes here in this game. They had a very nice, almost 2-minute spree of chances in their offensive third of the rink, but really since then it's been a game mostly fought in the neutral zone, with the Tornadoes coming out on top when you look at the score. Some action along the near side. We'll see who comes out with it. It is Totino-Grace, shot on net. Defense holding strong. They'll earn themselves a face-off in their offensive third of the rink. Both these teams were under 500 last year. I mentioned earlier, Totino-Grace 8-13 last year. Anoka wasn't much better, 8-15. They were in the bottom half of the Northwest Suburban Conference. We'll go over those standings later. Face-off just outside the blue line, won by Totino-Grace. They chip it in and it works. Straight up to the defense, however, and the Tornadoes almost had an opposite side rush. They will not. Offsides, they couldn't connect on the pass, so we'll turn it around again. What was a face-off just outside the blue line will be deep and more so closer to the red line along the left face-off dot in the Anoka Tornadoes defensive territory. 7:13 now on the clock and running on down now that the puck has been dropped. Fought on the near side, far side. They ring it around, but it hits the goal first. Anoka still having control. They try to center it. They will. Putting up the pressure is Novak. He turns it back over, though. The Eagles now pressing. In front of the net, a shot, a close one by Adam Johnson. This is that first line for Totino-Grace. And they're going to have to be good in this game if they want to come away with, again, their first victory of the season. The defense skating backwards. They'll turn around on the dump. The Tornadoes chase, and they win it this time. They're still fighting for it. 3 versus 1 on the far side board. Somehow Anoka still comes out with it. Putt goes in front of the net. Can't quite get a deflection as it was on way to Howe. Chipped ahead. Here's Totino-Grace now. Thelen, first line left winger. Using that speed, centers it. Unfortunately, blocked off was Delzer. He couldn't quite get close enough to get a touch. Deflected off of the shin of Sloth. That's going to hurt for Brendan. And a big hit for Anoka by the assistant captain. Making some work there's Riley Shue, the senior defender. And with a little bit of physicality in the corner, it looks like Quinn Putt is going to get called for tripping. He's going to go to the sin bin for 2. So he will go. Penalty at 5:54. So this is what the doctor ordered when you're down 1-0. Get on the power play and get something on the twine. We'll see if the Eagles can do it. Anoka falls down on their way to the puck. It leaves an opening gap for Totino-Grace, and they will take advantage. They set up shop. They should have gone D to D. Instead, they send it back down without numbers. We'll see if Anoka can get it out of their defensive territory. They can't. They do finally work it back to the defense, but deflected up the middle. The Eagles will have to touch back up. They do so. Waiting to get entry. How about the big body of Heffron? He is going to be so valuable, but a turnover. Anoka, did they leave themselves too far? No, wrister off the post. Hedenrich was there for Anoka. He could have done it. Heidenreich has an assist on the year. He does not, however, have a goal yet. Could have had his first right there. That's about as good an opportunity as you can get. More so the opportunity you dream of getting. I don't think it's ever necessarily the easiest when it's 1v1. If that's not your game, it can be tough. Sometimes you need your team to help you a little bit. Meanwhile, the Eagles, using their speed, still got just about a minute left on this power play, but another good job by Anoka to get a clearance. Howe stops it. Checking what he's got is Belanco. Works it to Wasik. Interesting that Totino has 2 defenders on the ice right now on this power play unit, their second unit. Now only 30 seconds left, and Anoka is doing a heck of a job killing this. This is the first penalty of the period. And for a very physical game so far, somewhat surprising, I think you could say. Totino gets caught up in the corner. Behind the net, leaks out front. Didn't have a body there to capitalize. They go opposite side. They're working it around. 3 seconds left on the power play, and with Anoka spinning it around the boards. Thought that was going to go across the blue line and maybe be an icing, but out of the box and sharply so. Anoka has a chance now. Matt Orr, he was in the box. Took it for putt. Or I should say putt, got out of the box, went to the bench, switched out, and now here is Orr. Up top, Anoka goes D to D, chip it up ahead. Chance, there's Orr, top right, but Howe gets it with a shoulder. 3:15, we'll pause and get a face-off momentarily. Last year, Anoka averaged 2.35 goals a game. They gave up 3.5, so about a 1.2 goal differential for Totino. Last year, they scored 2.3 goals per game. They gave up 3.9, so 1.6 differential, not in their favor. Down right now, it hasn't been a good start for them. They're only averaging 1.5 goals a game, but they're giving up 6. A trend they are certainly looking to right here on this Saturday evening. And we'll see if they can. Right now, they're behind, trailing by 1. An early goal by Taylor Wanis. Behind the net, Totino comes up to grab it. Jepson, the third line right winger, goes back to the D. Stitcha. He puts it out in front of the net, thrown away by Moen. Up into the netting, and we will have a face-off. If you're listening to this, you're most likely safe and sound in your homes, thank goodness, because we got our first taste of, I would say, a true snowfall here today. Blizzard conditions here in the metro. If you are not watching domestically, it was a rough one. Almost slid into my parents' car in the driveway as I was going for my sister's birthday dinner. Happy birthday to MJ. Totino-Grace takes a shot, deflected off of somebody up into the netting, and we'll do it all over again. But on that note, my dad also shoveled off the rink, so rink season's in full-fledged mode, I would say. Did it with his ATV, too, so the lake's certainly starting to firm up and really freeze up, too. Said there's still a couple of dead spots, heard a couple of crackles as he was going around. But for the most part, pretty good. That one's covered up. That puck was really harmlessly behind the net and then somehow found its way up close to Moen. He did well to deflect it, or I should rather say cover it. And for the third time in about 45 seconds, we'll have a face-off on the left red dot. Totino-Grace trying to keep it inside. They will. Out in front, one-time opportunity missed by Totino-Grace. Heffron with the beautiful feed out front to Bonfi, but he couldn't capitalize. They switch it over. Here's Golden. First time we've said his name today, that third line left defenseman. How about the big body of Heffron? He is ginormous. That kid could play juniors right now if he wanted to. He takes the body and loses it. Good play by Putt. Probably the two biggest guys in this game going toe-to-toe right there. Behind the net, the Eagles look to get maybe 1 or 2 more charges left with 1:10 left here in the first period. Anoka up 1, 1-1 on the year. Totino-Grace still looking for that first one. They have fallen their first 2 games. Out in front, deflection. Jack Bonfey, the 5'9" centerman, a senior, was there, deflected, a very good deflection, just maybe 6 or so inches too high. It certainly had a chance. Anoka, 2-on-1, back door, but it led a little bit behind. They're crashing forward, Matt Orr. Now it's the Eagles' turn out in front. No one's there, just kidding. A shot, but late was Thelen to the party. Goalie was set up, angle was lost, shot not as dangerous. 29 seconds left now on the clock as we pause for station identification. This is the Youth Hockey Hub, and we are very glad for you to be tuning in on the wavelengths, youthhockeyhub.com. Putt rings it around the boards. One last chance for Anoka. It's Putt. Top 5 scorer on this team last year. On net, 5 seconds out in front, and they do it. Who else? Quinn Putt, the first line centerman, makes it 2-0 with 4 seconds left on the clock. You saw John Howe keep on sliding over right to left, but he just couldn't quite get there fast enough. One of those goals that you can certainly see coming before it happens. And with that, Anoka will close out the first period. Up to Tanner Wanis and Quinn Putt are your goal scorers. No one on the board for Totino-Grace. We will take a pause on our coverage, but when we come back, we will review the first period and talk about what we think might happen in the second. We thank you for watching this game online on youthhockeyhub.com. Welcome back to Brooklyn Center Community Center here in their ice arena up top. It is Anoka right now up 2-0 on the home field. Totino-Grace Eagles, they are still, again, searching for that first win of the season. They've dropped their opening 2 games against Maple Grove and East Grand Forks. Meanwhile, Anoka, coming off of a win versus Irondale, they lost their opener to Rogers, but those first 2 goals first by Tanner Wanas and then Quinn Putt, the captain and first-line centerman, capped off the period with 4 seconds left. He was able to put that thing in right inside of that right post, and that is how the Tornadoes have found themselves with a 2-goal lead as we enter the second period, a 17-minute period at that. We'll have 3 of those. We've done 1 in the middle of the second, and a third will be coming in about 30 or so minutes, I would guess to say. Alongside Ryan and Justin, my name is Alex. Thank you for tuning in with us. A little bit of a bizarre day outside. Glad you can be inside enjoying our coverage here online streaming on the youthhockeyhub.com. Anoka, here's a chance. Slips out to the left, looking to go forward to forward, but they couldn't quite that time. Out of a scrum, Totino-Grace comes out with it. Here's the big body of Heffron. Heffron, speed. Goes right side off of the glove of Moen. Battle along the boards. The Eagles come out. Shot from the point. Gets deflected on the way there. Second time off of a pad. Third time off of the post. A hit along the blue line, and they're going to call offsides. They put that puck in right as it was towing that blue line. But I was talking to Ryan during the intermission. This is a physical game. We saw this Totino-Grace defense doing a lot of checking, a lot of body checks, a lot of hard work along the boards. And for Anoka, they held strong. The size advantage, you would say, is tilted in Totino-Grace's direction. But again, Anoka, their speed, their sound passing was certainly evident in that first period. And also the relentlessness, too. And that's what we saw from Quinn Putt on that goal. Just kept on chipping that puck away, kept on getting John Howe off of his spot. Did so and converted. And with just about a minute and a half into this second period, it has been mostly a neutral zone to start. Whiffed on the shot, does Anoka. Milray was going to get that shot. He's got a goal and 2 assists on the year. Brendan Sloth right now the team's leading goal scorer. I shouldn't say that. Into the game, he was tied with Quinn Putt. Brendan Sloth 2 goals, no assists. Quinn Putt came in with 2 goals and 1 tally. But now he's got another. So 3 goals now for Quinn Putt. He is your leader for Anoka. For Totino-Grace, they have a couple of players stuck at 1, to be exact 3 of them. And that's all 3 goals they have all year long. Heffron's got 1. Johnson has 1 as well, along with Palmer. Offsides. We'll come back. Looks like Hermantown took down Lakeville South tonight. Listening into the in-house public address announcer listing off some high school scores. We already heard a Northwest Suburban result earlier, which was a win for Andover tonight. They again won the Northwest Suburban Conference last year. These 2 teams both hail from that coveted conference. Tornadoes on net, chipped aside, almost got deflected in. There was an alley for it, but it didn't make contact with any sticks. Instead, a board behind the goal. The Eagles now showing a little bit of patience. They work it up to the forward group. Here's the third line going at, the first line. Adam Johnson out in front of the net, tried to connect with Delzer, but he couldn't put it on net. Delzer still has it. Manning with his left-handed stick, rather. Tornadoes now gathering. One of the other captains on this team trying to chip it away. Sloth, again, 2 goals on the year. Totino plays it back safe. They go D to D. Wasek, he had I was going to say a lot, but I'll be more specific. I think he had about 6 or 7 hits in that first period. He was very active, stirring the pot for sure in this game. And we just mentioned, so let's go over that Northwest Suburban Conference last year. Andover took it home with an 8-2 record. Centennial right behind them, 6-2. Elk River and Zimmerman 6 and 4, followed behind them by Maple Grove 5 and 5. Totino in the mix there, along with Blaine and Anoka. A down year for Blaine. We'll see if they can respond this year. On net can't go. Thrown to the side at the very last moment by that Totino-Grace defense. Nielsen, the senior defender, standing strong on that first line pairing. Near side collision, a couple of collisions. Puck crawls out. Chipped into the offensive territory of Totino-Grace. Heffron chasing. Coming in from the left side, almost gets the outlet pass. Totino chasing. So are the Tornadoes. They can't get to it first before the puck crosses the red line. Offsides. And we'll turn it on around. .13:06 remaining, just about 4 minutes into this second period. Anoka up 2. Face-off in their defensive third of the rink. Play it ahead, they'll battle in the corner. Schwoo's trying to fight him off. Near side, short side battle. Comes out to the Eagles in front of the net. Anoka had a body there and it almost blocked the goaltender Moen. Still have it. Totino-Grace off of the foot of the captain Sloth. He blocked it. Now he's in the corners grinding and he comes out with it. Chips ahead to his forward grouping. Swung on to the right side by Matt Orr, and the Eagles will have to chase again. But with no one in the box, you can't do that. Icing. We'll go back around. First line out on the ice for Totino-Grace. Looks like this is the second line for Anoka that is in. Johnson gets booted out. He's got 1 goal on the year. 5'7", 150-pound centerman. Undersized, but he knows how to use it. To the back, an errant pass. Thelen was looking to go back D to D to Wasik, but couldn't quite do it, or rather left wing to defender. Now here's Johnson. Gains possession, centers it. Out in front, down low. Butterfly was mowing, and he blocked it to the side. Tornadoes rush it to the left. Gets dumped back in by the Eagles, and they're going to have a couple of guys headed that way. Deflected away in front of the net. They go high. Moen pushes it along. Big collision along the near side. On the east side of the rink, they'll swing it around. Chasing, and this line has been doing a lot of that. Delzer, he gains possession. Works it back. Do they step up? They do. The Eagles still fight for it. Dump back in the left side by Wasik, the senior. Now here's Thelen's turn. Wasik steps up, tries to put it on goal, squeaks away, but how about Bonfie coming in, that second line centerman with the backup? And this is one of those possessions where they have been setting up shot. They have certainly been getting some opportunities. And we didn't see much of that from Totino-Grace after the first couple of minutes in the first period, where they really had the gas pedal down. They won the first 7 minutes of that first period. Here's a chance, Totino, and they just can't buy a goal right now. The reverse chance won't go as well for Palmer. It was Heffron on the first attempt, and he's going to get taken down on the far side of the ice as well. Not many people, if any, can take down Heffron. If there's someone to do it, it's Putt. Speaking of the devil, he's towing the line. He still has it, tries to fit it back door. Some fans are getting excited. I did a little bit that time as well. Couldn't quite find his line mate there, though, however, Gumont was going. But it did not go all the way through the crease. Stopped. It will be a face-off in the Eagles' defensive territory on the right hash from my perspective. Again, it should be no secret to you, but Anoka switching sides in their maroons, going left to right. Shot on net, can't go. The Eagles looking to reverse it, trying to get it up ice. Good body by Jepson that time. They tried to go opposite side to Gray, but he wasn't there in time. Defense keeps it in. Forwards do the same. Tornadoes working hard and it pays off. Only one penalty so far in this game. And it was Putt who went to the box for a hook. And it happened at the 5:45 minute. Should say 5:45 left in the first period. And so he stays in the box, comes out at 3:45, goes to the bench. His next shift on the ice, he scores. Tornadoes dancing. Couldn't quite get through the wreckage, though. Now it's the Eagles' turn coming up the left side. Speed showing. Thelen tried to get around that captain, Sloth, but couldn't do it. Sloth now. Center ice. Toes his way to the right. Shot into the chest of Howe, and we will have another face-off. .32 left here in Brooklyn Center Community Center. Heffron leading the charge. Toe drag to boot. Can he get the Raz? No. All Raz, no Barry that time. He's had a little bit of that prescription in this game. Laid back for an offender, but it's a defender who picks it up. The Tornadoes now 3-on-3. They'll dump. One goes for a line change. Two will stay on the ice. The Eagles capitalize, and a big hit, a blindsided hit. The fans loved it. It was Novak for the Anoka Tornadoes that laid a little bit of wood there. And are they sending him to the bin? No. They will rather call an offsides. I heard a whistle. And it wasn't too long after that big collision. Minute goes off the clock in between face-offs. It was 9:52. Now it's 8:52. And locally here in Brooklyn Center is 8:44 p.m. Still waiting for a wild score update on my phone. I haven't gotten one yet, I should say. It was tied at 2s last time I saw it entering the third. Sloth at the blue line keeps it in, and Anoka works it down. Heidenreich working. Eagles converting. They've got a chance, but a heck of a stick again by the Tornadoes. A little bit of a slash there by Delzer, but again, a simple slash of the extracurricular variety isn't going to get you in too much trouble. Sloth dances between everybody. Goes red to red, but couldn't again get it behind the net. So another face-off. We've had quite a few of those in this one. It's funny, you look around, a lot of nervous parents in this building, a lot of parents with a lot at stake in this game. This is a sport that takes a lot of heart, a lot of dedication, but also a lot of commitment. And I think that is certainly something that these parents have done that I think very few sport parents do. And I did miss a penalty, so Totino-Grace is in the box. We got about 1:10 left of it. In the box for Totino is Ben Palmer, so he does go. So this is a good chance for Anoka to get on the board and grow that 2-goal lead to 3. Let's see who they call upon. Back door, it was wide open for Josh Milray. He's got a goal and 2 assists, was tied for the team lead in points coming into tonight's game. Now That is Quinn Putt's territory all to his lonesome. Sloth, he's been good in this one. Sloth and Putt, really two players for Anoka that have certainly stood out to me. They work it back up to the defense, but unable to keep it inside is Quinn Putt. They work it up to Sloth. We'll see what he does. Heavy shot. Rebound was there. The Eagles have it. And they're just going to try to get it out of their defensive third of the ice. They'll ring it around. 1 second left on the penalty. No, they actually take it off. So Totino now out of the box with 6:48 left here in the second period from Brooklyn Center, the home of your Totino-Grace Eagles. Furthering the point I was talking about earlier, a lot of early practices, a lot of uncomfortable rinks, cold rinks I mean, a lot of early practices, a lot of weekend tournaments, traveling to who knows where. Hockey parents are some of the most passionate, but I think when you look behind that passion, there is a very logical trail and conclusion as to where that comes from and why, in my opinion, it is well-deserved and certainly justifiable. Anoka, D to D, work it up to that forward grouping. Big hit by Totino. That leads to a chance for them for only a moment. Chipped away. Anoka goes forward to forward now. Buenas already has a goal. Tried to fit it over to his partner there, Schuster. Guess who? Heffron. Can you stop this kid? The only man stopping him tonight's been himself. He's had 3, I would say 2 A+ chances, then another 2 B chances. Hasn't been able to convert any of them. For Totino, it's been a breakaway that didn't result in anything. I would say 2 very good chances from Heffron. And then they also had a puck that was literally stopped on the goal line. On goal, in goal. But did not cross. And the defense of Anoka stood strong. And really, that, looking back, that was about the 2nd minute of this game, too. So, it's a long time coming for them. We'll see what happens. Near side, the Eagles work it around. They go across ice. A nice deflection, however, by that left winger, Heidenreich. Somewhat of a sketchy play by Howe. He comes out of his net to play it, but no harm done in the immediate future. Totino loses sight of the puck for a moment, but Belanco gains possession back. He skates it up the center, looking to fit it to the left side, will do so. Try to chip it ahead was the forward hand, but instead it goes the other direction. Putting up his hand is Howe, and that will be another icing. Speaking of that update, I just got it. Maple Leafs fall to the Wild 5-3. Was a 2-2 game. Didn't end that way. Again, if you're under a rock, the Maple Leafs are certainly a fun team. This year they signed John Tavares, one of the biggest free agent signings in recent memory, really, in hockey. You don't get dynasty players like that reaching the market quite often, if ever. He joins Austin Matthews, who in his first game as a professional hockey player scored 4 goals. Him and Jake Eichel, 2 spectacular young players along with Connor McDavid. But they also have this guy named Nylander who just recently signed with the team. He hasn't played yet, but he will. So Maple Leafs really have a core of talent and young talent. Tavares, again, open market, but he's still under 30. Signed, I believe, man, how many figures is over $100 million? I don't know, but that's a lot. Guy's got a lot of ching in the bank. He's not worried about expensive dinners, I'll tell you that. He's got the rookies' dinners, I think, certainly on tap. So the Wild fall 5-3, but right now it's Totino-Grace falling to Anoka 0-2. The Tornadoes on the board. 2 goals in the first period, nothing so far here in the second with just under 4 minutes left to play. Along with Ryan on the cam, Justin producing. My name's Alex Zappa. I'll be talking to you and have been talking to you all night long. Totino, a dangle in between the legs, and they do it. Ben Palmer gets his second goal of the year. So with 3:41 left in the second period, the senior second line right winger, right shot, right time, right place, squeezes it between the legs of Joe Moen. He has been very good tonight. Very, very good tonight. But it's Palmer who does it. They're going to give the assist to his centerman, Jack Bonfey. That's his second assist of the year. I'd assume his first one came on Ben Palmer's goal. So Ben Palmer and Jack Bonfey forming a little bit of chemistry here. Both seniors, I'm sure both have played on each other's lines frequently. Interesting to note for Totino-Grace, just grazing these over. Their first line, their wingers are both sophomores. Their centerman's a junior. And again, when in hockey, first line, second line is really irrelevant to a certain perspective because it's only who starts the game. Once the game starts, what is technically your first through fourth line fluctuates throughout the game all the time. Talk to any coach. Ice time gets split up, shifts get uncorked with power plays and PKs. Guys are moving around all over the place. So it's really, you kind of have your top six and your bottom six. Point being that second line with two seniors and a junior, that first line, two sophomores and a junior, certainly interchangeable, or will be that way throughout the season. 3:17 now left. We're stopped. I'm not sure why. It was a conversation along the bench, and it was Anoka. They were trying to get their cause heard, and it will be. It was a trip for Totino, so another penalty for Totino, their second of this period. And we'll see if Anoka can capitalize. And there was almost a shorty there by Totino, but nothing to come of it so far. This period will not come to an end before this period is over, so we will have the full length of this penalty in the second period. It will not transfer over to the third. And guess what? Someone else is going to the sin bin. Steven Hand got a trip. Guess what you don't want to do if you're Totino and you get a goal back? Have a 5-on-3 not in your favor. That's exactly what is about to happen. And so they will have just about 90 seconds. Anoka will. A full 5-on-3, a two-man advantage in their favor. This is awfully tough to defend. And for John Howe, I hope you put your contacts in because you're going to need to see these pucks very clearly for the next minute and a half. Anoka on net. Sloth put it on there. Typically a forward by Trader. Actually, I really shouldn't say that. He actually started this game first line defense, so no. But with how much he's been coming into the rush, and really his hands have been something I've been very impressed with throughout this game. You'd think he has forward skills, but some of the best defenders, as you're aware when you think of Eric Carlson, Brett Burns, and many others. Chris Letang, I think I'd put in that category of guys that play like forwards, but their finesse and structure allows them to be quite good defenders as well. .2:15 in the second period left. 58 seconds left on the first penalty, a minute 26 left on the second. The advantage in Anoka's favor, and that one gets all the way down the ice, and that will buy them some valuable time. Leaves the goal open, Totino! Luke Delzer gets a 5-on-3 shorty, and we're knotted up at twos. Are you kidding? what a mistake by Joe Moen. God knows you don't want to crucify a high school kid, but my goodness, playing that puck on a 5-on-3. The period was coming to a close, I understand it, and 9 times out of the 10, I'm sure he does that in his sleep, but boy, did that puck take a weird hop, not in his favor. But, again, for Totino, they still got to play some defense, and for Anoka, they still have a minute left on that later penalty and 25 seconds on the first. So they can still make this a one-goal game in their favor, but for right now, we're tied up at 2s. Totino season high on goals scored is 3. Or rather, 2. And he scored 2 versus East Grand Forks. I thought that was a 3-7 loss. It was 2-7. So right now they've tied their season high for goals scored. So a good offensive outing for them. And really, they have had a lot of good chances outside of that as well. That first penalty is now off the board, so with a minute 04 left in the second period, we will have 15 seconds left on the penalty. But wait, another guy's going to the box. Did they give Totino another one? If they did, I miss it. Colin Nielsen is in the box, and wow, they just nailed him too. So 3 penalties. Three penalties for Totino-Grace in this period. And now for 10 seconds, they'll have a 5-on-3. The Tornadoes didn't capitalize the first time around. And it looks like they're not going to capitalize this time either. They're out of the box. 44 seconds left in the period. A minute 40 left on the penalty. So that will carry over into the third period. Tied up at 2s. Two goals by Anoka in the first period, 2 here by Totino in the second. Only 27 seconds left. Palmer and Delzer, your goal scorers in this second period. Palmer fitted in between Moen's legs. Delzer, meanwhile, found himself with a wide open net with a goalie trying to get back into his crease, but certainly not in the nick of time. Anoka has time for one last charge with 13 seconds left on the clock. Putt to the left side. Doesn't really have time to do much else, and it's kind of exactly what I just said. He wasted all the time, really should have put it out front, doesn't. Great player, maybe a little bit of a subtle mistake that time. The clock runs out, the buzzer sounds, and that will do it for period number 2. Totino-Grace behind Palmer and Delzer get back on the board, and they knot this one up at 2s. We will take a short break on the youthhockeyhub.com, but when we come back, we will see who will win this tied-up game here in Brooklyn Center. Back here in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, as Totino-Grace, the Eagles, tied things up in the second period as we head into the third against Anoka Tornadoes. 2-2 the score. We enter the third period, 17 minutes on the clock. And Totino going the direction they went back in the first period in those home whites. Navy blue breezers and shoulders and helmets going up against the maroon and white of Anoka. Gaining a lot of momentum and traction in that second period. It was a first period where we saw them really dominate for the opening 7 minutes, and then were shushed quiet by a Tanner Wannis goal. Quinn Putt would put one in with 4 seconds left in the first period, and with an Anoka team that came into this game averaging 3 goals a game, Totino-Grace, a team that only scored 3 goals on the season, you might have thought that this game was all said and done. That was certainly not the case. Palmer and Delzer get on the board. Delzer, a spectacularly lucky goal, and he has it now. And by lucky, I simply mean that Joe Moen played a puck on a 5-on-3 that he had no business playing. Left his net wide open, and the right winger, Luke Delzer, was there to capitalize. So that's how we got to 2s. And I can tell you by the end of this game, I don't think that is going to be our score whatsoever. But we'll let time tell. 16-13, only about a minute into this third period. Chipped on head by TG. Wasik along back there with his partner Stitchka have been very, very impressive in this game, very physical. Some good passes as well from behind their red line, getting their forwards up and at them. And now here's a turnover. Heffron taking advantage up front, speed. One man to beat, and he couldn't. It was Palmer who almost had another chance in this game. Backdoor Wissick steps up but can't make a play. Corralled by Heffron. He slides through the defense. Still has it, goes up top, hits the neck. It looked like of Moen, but he had some padding there. It goes to the side. TG not done yet, though. Backdoor opportunity missed by Heffron. Clap from up top. No, he fakes it, brings it back. Wissick risks it top left. It was deflected away, and now Heffron with it again. His big body guarding that puck. They go up top, and Wissick was not in the place where that puck ended up being. Out of bounds, they got a touch up. They come back. Anoka now trying to squeeze on ahead through a sauce. However, it had dried up. They go across the way. Johnson now chasing. Makes the captain Sloth give it away. Towing the blue line. Anoka enters their offensive territory, but turned over immediately. Here's Delzer. He's been dangerous in this game and dangerous this season. That goes up into the glass on the wrister. Played ahead with the body is Thelen. This possession is still alive for Totino. Played off the boards. The Anoka bench was a little bit terrified there for a moment. And as this puck winds its way down to the end of the ice, our first icing of period number 3. Face-off won by Anoka. They wrap it around the boards. Near side chasing are both teams. Gets to the red line, no icing called. Spun around, Totino-Grace breaks the zone, and this is a new look Totino-Grace team from what we saw in the later parts of the first period. They have absolutely rebounded from what was a really just a poor finish. They had a great start to this game and then had some unlucky bounces. The puck didn't go their way, but now it is tilting their direction ever so slightly. How many minutes has Jack Wassett played already in this game? It's been a lot. He tries to finesse his way through the defense. Wassick along with Guman going for a little bit of a ride there, spinning around in circles. And the referee's giving him a talking to, like, hey, dude, I'm calling that next time. And he's saying it was the other guy. So what are you going to do? Anoka flops one up out of their defensive territory, gets to center ice, but then gets put back. Saucering puck finds its way into the crowd. We're safe back here. Alongside Ryan and Justin, my name's Alex Zappa. Thanks for tuning in to our coverage on YouthHockeyHub.com. We've had a couple of games this week, so again, always check this website. Catch the games, got a schedule there for you. You can see what's coming on tap. A lot of great announcers too. J.W. Cox, who does games for the St. Paul Saints. He also does a lot of the in-house stuff for St. Cloud State. A very good broadcaster in this area. He had a game earlier this week. Here's a puck that finds its way to the Eagles. They got speed, but a deflection puts it high for Thelen, and he's into the boards, and he's down. I think Anoka's going to get a penalty now for this. Quinn Putt gave him a little bit of a shove when he was already on the ground. And Quinn Putt, if I had to guess, probably standing, not even with skates, might be 6'4". Adam Johnson's 5'7", so I mean, that's not even a fair fight. So I know Putt's going to the box. We'll see if Johnson is too. And it looks like they will open it up for him, so coincidentals here. They will both enter the box. I think we're still going to have 5-on-5 hockey, and it looks like we will. So they'll be away for a while. We'll say hello to them when they come out in 5 or so minutes. Behind the net, Totino looks like they have it. Near side, they swing it around. Now Thelen for Totino and Anoka. They both lose their first line centers, so they're going to have to bobble their lines a little bit to make things work. Other side, back door, top. No, doesn't go for Totino. A nice shot, though, by Stitcha coming up into the rush. And had a nice left shot from the left side. Toe drag, Eagles, chance, goes high and finds the glove of Joe Moen. Just about 5 minutes into this third period, still tied at 2. Anoka put 2 on the board in the first. Totino-Grace answered with 2 of their own in the second. In the third, we'll see who will capitalize and make this game theirs. If Anoka wins, they're above 500 on the season. They would have a 2-1 record. If Totino-Grace wins, we've mentioned it, this would be their first win of the season after dropping their first 2. It's always nice to get that conference win. Both these teams from the Northwest Suburban. I will say the in-game ops here are pretty spectacular. We had Yeah by Usher on the last face-off. We just had peanut butter and jelly on this last one. They're on their game. They know what they're doing. We'll see what they dial up next time. That shot goes high and wide. Tornadoes trying to get it out of their defensive third, but again, this has been a period I would say has been dominated by Totino-Grace so far. Shots 5-1 in this period so far, tilting for the Navy blue and white. Chipped ahead, Anoka. Nice little slip and slide there from Matt Orr. He's had some very nice finesse to his game in this one tonight. Again, a Saturday night tilt. You don't see this very often during the high school season, but we're glad to bring you this coverage again on Youth Hockey Hub. Here's Anoka, the captain, Sloth, and this is what I was talking about. He's a defender, but he just put a wrist shot on net, basically in the crease. So I mean, hey, it's high school. You know, Aaron Ness back in the day for Roseau, he was famous for that. Nick Letty, too. I mean, it happens, but who knows? Maybe move him to center. That's a tip there. Fancy move by Totino-Grace. They break the face off on a rush. Odd man rush. They had a chance there to capitalize, but I don't think that third line left winger, Steven Hand, thought he had an alley to fit it over to Jepson. Wasik, he's been good in this one. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The kid has been grinding all over the ice. A hit where it's needed to be had, like right there. And I think he's going to get called for it. And that's going to, with the whistle, it will put Johnson and Putt out of the box. But it's a good thing that Johnson got that seat warm, because I think Wasik is headed right for it, and he will. So Wasik goes to sin bin. And while we have a moment, a special shout out to Joe Brink, courtesy of the Totino-Grace fans and parents. Joe Brink, if you're not familiar, a JV player for Minnetonka. He got checked into the boards head first, broke his, or I should say fractured his neck, but no damage done to his spinal cord, we have heard, but he will be out for hockey this season. A very long recovery process that will be in the range of 4 to 8 months. It really just depends on the flow of the injury and what happens. But again, Joe Brink, on behalf of, I would say, us at Youth Hockey Hub for certain, but the message come to us from the Totino-Grace fans that we are thinking of you, Joe, and we hope you well and that you get back on the ice sooner than later. It's one of the unfortunate realities of sports. It takes a certain amount of courage, and I think it's something that players, coaches, and fans alike certainly overlook a lot of time, is the dangers, the rigors, the things you put your body through, how at risk you can be when you're doing the type of stuff these kids are doing. Again, they're fast, they're powerful, they're talented. Sport is not easy. So for all out there, always be careful, and it's good that we're entering into a generation where I think health is certainly becoming a priority in everyone's mind. 9:20 on the clock, 1:15 left on the penalty kill for Totino-Grace. It is a power play for Anoka, and they've entered their offensive territory. They do a line change, and that puck will stay in. Sloth dancing, corralling, but couldn't quite get a shot off. Now it's Totino-Grace. They already have a shorty goal in this game. Could they get another? Anoka with speed and near side. It looks like parents are very upset. It looked like there's literally a fight breaking out. And so I think we're going to have a couple more coincidentals here. And they're giving high fives right here. I think one of the parents of one of the fighters was right here in front of us. Proud of his son. I'm putting that in air quotes. So I think both boxes are opening. And so going in for Anoka will be number 4, Josh Milray. And they got 2 of them going, so Frank Gumont's going to go as well. So 2 in there for Anoka. I don't think Totino-Grace had 2 men in that fight. We'll see. Going in for them will be Steven Hand. And are they going to send Sticks in there too? Stitchka is kind of like, hey, am I headed for the sin bin or what? He's kind of just hanging out. He's going to take a sip of Gatorade in the meantime. The refs are trying to sort this out. So are we. I don't even know who's really cheering necessarily. Oh, and he's going to be kicked out of the game. I missed who skated off. And again, it was in the near side where the standing fans are somewhat blocking our view. So an Anoka player has been ejected. Someone is going to have to sit in the box for him. We'll see who that is, and that might have been Milray, because I don't know if he was in the corner in that altercation. The refs are going to talk this over. It looks like Stitchka, who is one of the assistant captains, I believe, on this Totino-Grace team, is trying to basically read between the lines of what is going to happen. So right now, wow. they're putting on a penalty for Totino-Grace. And I would think there's no way that it wouldn't be at least coincidental. But again, coincidentals don't necessarily go on the board. And they're not 2 minutes. So I don't really know what's happening right here. All we saw here is that there was a stoppage. There's a couple players in the corner. Okay, so Frank is out. And then Hand gets a holding minor. Okay, so what they're doing is Anoka, number 9, Frank Uman, he's out of the game, or at least from what I could hear in my phones. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what I heard. And then on the other side, so he gets 5 minutes, but he's gone, so someone's going to sit in the bin for him. On the other side for Totino, they're giving Hand 2 minutes for roughing, and I thought I heard them say a major 2, but that doesn't make any sense to me because it's not on the board. Now, given there's only 2 slots for penalties, so it could be down and we can't even see it yet. On the board right now, there's a 46 and a 2-minute penalty for Totino-Grace. There's a 5-minute major on the board for Anoka. So what I think is going to happen is right now it's a 4-on-3 in favor of Anoka, but when it's all said and done, it's going to be a 5-on-4 power play for Totino-Grace for just about 3 minutes. Putt. Trying to get a shot, but how about the effort from Heffron? He falls down, and on a whim, just with every ounce of strength he really had, he had no leverage whatsoever. Just got his stick out there and pushed that puck outside of the blue line and made Anoka go get it and touch up. And you can bet Joe Moen is scared to play any puck in this game after what happened in the second period. They get offsides on the entry, so that faceoff will come outside of the Tornadoes' offensive third in the neutral zone. So now one of Totino-Grace's penalties is off the board. So now it's 4-on-4 for about 1 minute and 8 seconds. And they are counting down at the exact same time. So basically, yeah. So they gave Anoka 5 minutes. They gave Totino 2 minutes. 3-minute difference. That will be a power play that will stay on the board again, even if a goal is scored. So Totino's going to have 3 minutes where they can really pile it on and grow themselves a lead. We'll see if they do it. With 7:56 left here in regulation. I'm not even going to start talking about scenarios that would happen if we stay at 2-2, because that's not going to happen. So we'll move on. Tornadoes guarding the puck. It's Novak on the near side. It breaks out, though, in the Eagles' favor. They're rolling. 4-on-4 hockey right now. A lot of space on this sheet right now. Swung around. Now it's Anoka's turn. Andrea passes it up ahead, leads it to Novak. He just pushes it up ahead, too. Swings back. TG now Palmer. To Heffron. Shot off, but wide right, not really close. Battle along the boards. Heffron gets back control up top. Shot low. Instincts brought Moen down. I don't think he saw it, though. Tornadoes might have a chance, a wraparound opportunity. And Totino's going to get another penalty. So Steven Golden, the sophomore third-line defender by the sheet I have, is going to get either a hook or something. We'll see what they call him. Regardless, he's going to send in for 2, and that is a huge loss for them because they were 3 seconds away from having a 3-minute power play. So now for 3 seconds, we'll have a 4-on-3 in favor of Anoka, and then 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and then it'll be about 1 minute power play when all is said and done for Totino-Grace, given no more penalties are called. and I missed it. I was looking at my notes. I look up, and another Totino-Grace Eagle is going to the box. That's the 6th penalty in 2 periods against Totino-Grace. That is insane. I didn't see it, and I'm surprised the fans aren't as maybe fanatical as they could be. It's actually been a very tame crowd for a Saturday evening game, and I think with this game getting maybe just a little, I don't want to say out of hand, but just a little bit out of control. I think they're going to take a timeout. One of the teams called a timeout. I'm not sure who. I believe it was Anoka. Shout out to the crew. So we got 6:41 left here in regulation. It's tied up at 2s. Anoka's still working off that 5-minute major. They have 2:49 of it left. There's a fresh 2-minute penalty on the board for Totino-Grace. They only were about 14 seconds into their previous penalty. So what was going to be a very good opportunity for Totino-Grace to score, and with a lot of room on this sheet of ice, it's now going to be a little bit more clustered, a little bit more uneven. It's going to be tougher to score. Teams come out of the timeout. Again, we thank you for joining us here on youthhockeyhub.com. Streaming a whole bunch of games this year. Check out our website to see. You already know how to get there. They play it back to Sloth. He works it up to the winger. Back to Sloth. He's got a good wrister. Uses it that time, but Howe was there. Throws the puck up top. Gets into his glove and gives it on to the referee. They'll switch sides on the face-off, this time from the right dot. Ooh, and a nice face-off win here. Totino loses possession, though. Now it's Anoka. Sloth again. I'm surprised he passed it. That one's going to go on net, however, from Milray. He's had a little bit of buzz in this one. His dad came up to us and said he was the best player on the sheet tonight. If he gets the game-winning goal, I'll agree with him. Sneaky shot on the other side from Totino. It was Delzer looking for his second of this one. Played back, close pass. Sloth towing the blue line. Does a little bit too much, loses his touch. And it is flung down the ice. Again, this is technically a power play for Anoka. 4-on-3 for another 40 or so seconds. A 15-second, I should say, difference between the two Totino-Grace penalties. In case you're wondering, the Blackhawks fall again, this time to Nashville 5-2. That one on net, blocked to the side. Totino-Grace is without a stick, so they're going to have to go to a bench change at Sticka. Meanwhile, Heffron was on a little bit of a run in the center of the ice, but lost possession. Very back and forth. 4-on-3, 4-on-4 sequence here from both teams. Deflected. Totino-Grace. They don't have numbers. They play it back. Heffron shot up high. Moensok coming. Back door not open that time. Totino dodges back. Heffron. Wasik. He's done just about everything in this game besides score a goal. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Wasik try to keep it in along the far side boards, but it's going to squeak out. Palmer to Wasik. Wearing that C. Wrist shot deflected, but he's going to bury an Anoka Tornado player at the same time. That's a hockey play for anybody. Ooh, right in front of the net. Nielsen, the defender, somehow found that puck on his wood, but couldn't get it high enough. 4 minutes on the dot left here in period number 3. 8 seconds left on the 5-minute major. In front of the net, touch of head. And we have had a lot of freezes in this game. Face off on the dot in Anoka's defensive territory. Won by Totino-Grace. Thelen falls down but still has it. Passes over to Johnson. He's back on the ice following his lengthy penalty with putt earlier. Now 3:30 left in the third. Neutral zone, the Tornadoes dump it in. The Eagles looking for the back door. Johnson, however, got caught up with the defense and couldn't be in position to put it in. Anoka throws it on ahead, touched away, they get it back. Trying to find that alley into their offensive territory. They have had trouble doing that in this third period. It's a third period that has been scoreless, but the counting numbers go in favor of the home team. Anoka can make that the difference right now, but it will not go. Goes high, but saved. How? Crashing into the boards are both teams. Coming out with the puck. No one yet. Totino-Grace had it for an instance, but the Tornadoes gain it back in the neutral zone. They play it back to the D, and then they wanted the quick outlet pass on the blue line, but a misdirection will result in an icing, so we'll go back to the other side. Anoka defending in their defensive spot. Some tough play along the boards. Totino trying to keep it in. They can't. Johnson dumps it in along with Bonfie. 1:35 left in the third period. Tied up at 2. Anoka took it all in the first. Totino took it all in the second. No one has taken it here in the third. The Eagles, Heffron, oh, he had an open lane to shoot, but instead passed. This one goes high and will be gloved by Joe Moen. Another classic. Everyone knows this song. We're doing it here. Haven't been to a YMCA in a long time, but great destination when I was a kid. Never forget it. They used to have good parties, too. Not a bad spot, and a very, very good song. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just about 1 minute left here. It appears as though we might have some free hockey underway. It was free to you regardless, but to these people here, they are certainly going to get their money's worth. And that one almost deflected in net, and that would have been quite an ironic way to end what has been a somewhat bizarre hockey game from my perspective. A lot of weird penalties, a couple of weird goals. And we might just have a weird result, who knows? Anoka The other side now, Totino. That one goes high, but hits the boards and not the net. 26 seconds. Clapper, oh. Vlasic almost off the deflection, put it in. He had a perfect alley. He fit it right down. And he had a couple of teammates on the way to that puck's direction to the net who could have had an influence on its direction. Neither of them touched it up. Heffron goes high and it almost made it in. 12 seconds left. Vlasic gets up to Totino. They need a shot into the boards, and it's going to be covered up. And with a 3-2-1, we are going to have overtime. Why not? It's been a good game so far, a tough game. We saw goals in the first period, goals in the second period. No goals in the third period. So they will not resurface for this overtime period. I've yet to brush up on my overtime rules. I believe it will be an 8-minute overtime period. It is a Saturday night after all, so if we're dancing here locally, it's a fun one. I'm going to celebrate my sister's birthday following this game, so overtime maybe not ideal for me, but you know what? I just love hockey, so I'm invested into this game. I want to see how it ends, but if you want to meet Alex Zappa, hey, come to downtown Minneapolis. Who knows? But right now, the Eagles and Tornadoes knotted up at 2s, and it's been a very, very good game. Tanner Wannis and Quinn Putt, the 2 goal scorers for Anoka in the first period. In the second, it was Palmer and Luke Delzer who got on the board. No one got on the board in the third besides for a host of penalties. I believe we saw 7 total penalties in the third period. We'll see how this extra period will play out. And I believe if no one scores in this extra time, the game is over. There are ties in high school hockey. They don't happen often, but they do happen. And so we will continue to play. Period number 4, if you will. And that was a sneaky shot that got misdirected off of a skate and almost went in for Anoka. Team switching directions. Anoka now going left to right on your screen. Totino-Grace the opposite direction. Neutral zone turnover. Tornadoes putt, puts it on net. Still up for grabs. He's covering it. And they will finally put that puck to a close. John Howe, he's been good. Hasn't allowed a goal in over 40 minutes of time. Got off to a little bit of a rusty start, but he has cleaned it up very, very well. And also, on the other side for Joe Moen, following an abnormal goal that you could put on his shoulders. He has been very stout since that slight mistake. Eagles, space, room, and into the chest. Thelen had the opportunity coming along the left side. But good positioning by Moen, the goaltender. Freezes it. And we'll have a face-off on the left dot in the Eagles' offensive third. Totino-Grace gets a turnover in the neutral zone. They try to make something of it. 3-on-2, spinning around, shot almost in the same exact shot we saw previously. This time not frozen up, still in play. Tornadoes have really struggled to break the neutral zone and settle up things in their offensive part of this sheet. They really dominated most of the first period, but it has been Totino-Grace pushing the pace since then. Here's an opportunity, close, centered out front, but no one was there to answer Heffron. Both teams will change lines, face-off to come. If Totino-Grace wins, they get their first victory of the year. If Anoka wins, they get above 500, something at stake at every game, but in this game specifically, some slightly significant boundaries to be had, or landmarks. Dump down, Totino chases Jepson. Out in front, turnover. Anoka was looking to break it for a chance, but a good read by the Eagles. The one-timer goes off the stick of Jepson again. Kept in and caught like a catcher by Moen. Another freeze with 5:27 remaining in our overtime period. You know what? The DJ here had my respect until he played that last beat. But now they go to the classic baseball anthem, and I'm back on their side. Totino-Grace wins the faceoff for a moment. They dump it down. Behind the red line, they center it, deflect off of the post. Not of the scary variety, but of the where's the puck. Still have it. Wasik, low, out in front, space, nothing to come of it. Held in, Wasik fires it again, tipped in front and scored. Jake Bonfie. And that is going to empty the bench and empty the game. Wasik on the clapper, and I said it. Jack Wasik had one of the best games you can see from a defender. He got in a couple of scrums, some great outlet passes, and now gets a primary assist. But it was the second-line centerman, Jack Bonfie, in front of the net, the senior, who will get his first goal of the season, will give Totino-Grace their first win of the season. They will now go to 1-2 on the season. Anoka will fall to 1-2 on the season. So matching records for both these teams hailing from the Northwest Suburban Conference. Before we sign off, we'll go over your scores. In the first period, Tanner Wanis, and then followed with 4 seconds left in the first period by Quinn Putt. In the second period, it was Palmer. He had a very good game, Ben Palmer, the senior right winger on that second line. And then the saving grace, Luke Delzer, got one of the luckier goals I've seen so far this year. He knotted it up at twos, and then now in this overtime period, Jack Wasik, who started this game as the third-line defensive pair, got all the way moved up to first, had a great game. His slapper gets deflected up and in by Jake Bonfie, and as they lift their sticks and lift the spirits of this crowd, Totino-Grace walks away a winner. Well, that will do it for us here on the YouthHockeyHub.com. We thank you for tuning in to our Saturday night coverage and look forward to seeing you later on throughout this young hockey season. For all of us here, we thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next time on YouthHockeyHub.com.